97 Minutes was released in 2023. This is directed by Timo, written by Pavan Grover, and we have a cast including Alec Baldwin and Jonathan Rhys Meyers. And I was interested in this for a few reasons. I like Alec Baldwin, I like films set on planes, and it sounded quite interesting. And then I saw it had 3.8 out of 10 on IMDb, across only 9.2 thousand reviews and ratings. That's a lot of opinions, but compared to a lot of films, it's not the greatest number. So I wasn't expecting much, but I went in feeling hopeful. Having now watched it, I can absolutely see that there are problems, but I didn't hate it. The first thing that's worth pointing out is that it's only 93 minutes. It's not a 97-minute film, but the narrative does begin pretty quickly, pretty much immediately. So I don't know. I don't have any reason to believe that this is the case, but maybe it was 97 minutes and then they had to take some scenes out for the rating. I know sometimes films will submit something to get the certificate and then they're told, well, actually, unless you take this scene out, we're going to rate it higher so fewer people will see it. I don't know. I'm trying to find an excuse, a benefit of the doubt, but that's the first thing that I thought was a little bit odd. The other thing before I get in with the narrative is that just out of curiosity, I had a look on IMDb. I was actually looking to see if there was any information about the duration, and there is a list of quite a few inaccuracies about the aeroplane itself and how things would work. That doesn't bother me. I'm not a plane enthusiast. I like films set on planes, but I don't care about them to the point of wanting to learn loads about them. So that doesn't bother me. But if you are a plane enthusiast, I can understand if that would be really, really irritating. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with it beyond that. It's just maybe not the most interesting. It's about a plane that has been hijacked and they have fuel supply with just 97 minutes remaining. Now, considering the film is under 97 minutes, that's a bit of an issue because, in theory, that would mean they have enough fuel to last beyond the last few minutes of the film. So a little bit awkward. Obviously, that's not to say that everything played out exactly in real time, but this is generally what's happening. And the film is about whether or not they'll survive or if the plane will crash and what will happen with the hijackers. And the story wasn't interesting. The concept is, I really like the concept, but I just found it to be really mundane, really dry. It wasn't that fascinating, so I didn't really care for the story. It's not bad in the sense that I don't believe it or that it's unrealistic. Again, there are things on IMDb that suggest otherwise, but from my perspective, everything flowed well enough. I don't have any real issues. It just was a little bit boring. But I liked the atmosphere, by which I mean it did make me feel a little scared. I'm not terrified of planes. I can go on a plane without having an anxiety attack, whereas if I were on a boat, that might be a different story. So for me, planes are scary but not terrifying, but the atmosphere did make me feel a little anxious, and that worked really well. So good atmosphere, not the best narrative. The characters were all very dull, but the performances were absolutely fine. Do I recommend it? Proceed with caution. I think it's a watchable film. I think the atmosphere works very well, and that's kind of why I wanted to watch it. I wanted to feel that plane-based anxiety, and I absolutely got that. I would have liked the narrative to be better. The characters, I didn't need the characters to be that interesting, as long as it ticked other boxes. It didn't tick that many other boxes, but the characters are fine. The performances are good. I think they made a really good use of the plane space. Absolutely no problems there. So it's an okay film. I don't rate it as low as 3.8 out of 10. I'd say maybe a 5. I don't really give ratings that often. But just to compare my experience to what seems to be the average experience, I'd say 5 out of 10. It was okay. It wasn't great. I did pay for it. It's not streaming in the UK just now, but I think it was $1.99. So it wasn't tremendously expensive. Obviously, I would have liked it a bit more having paid for it, but $1.99 for a film that's ultimately okay, I don't mind. I don't mind having paid for it. But that's also worth bearing in mind that in the UK at the moment, as far as I could see, it's not streaming anywhere. So if you're curious, check it out. It's not amazing. If you are particularly a fan of plane-based films, as I am, then I think you'll get something out of it. But in general, if you're not that bothered about plane films and it's not your ideal setting for a thriller, I don't think there's a lot it has to offer. So maybe check it out if you're curious. If you're kind of on the fence anyway, I'd say probably not bother. But in general, didn't mind watching it, wouldn't watch it again. Definitely room for improvement. But if you're curious, I'd say it might be worth watching.